Hi everyone. So I'm the odd one out. I'm the English speaker, or as a French, that's a bit of a stretch, I guess, but I'll do the best I can. I also, in order to try to make it up to you, I'll try to sell a bit of dreams, not my own dreams, but maybe children's dreams. I work for Unicef, which is the UN agency working for children. For those who may not be familiar, we are about everywhere in the world. We tend to be in all the countries of the Global South, and about 160 countries, and in all the countries in the Global North, where we have colleagues really looking to you to help us find the resources to do justice for that, so that each child has an equal opportunity. I'm the global head of innovation, and so I live in the dream, I guess, and I try to make those dreams come true. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we try to do. This is what we exist for. So for UNICEF, within the UNICEF architecture, UNICEF is about 17,000 staff around the world. We've existed since 1948 in most countries of the world. We are in these countries since the 50s. We're there generally to try and help the countries do justice to all children for equal opportunity. And we're there before any crisis and after any crisis. And so the role of the Office of Innovation is to try to figure out how do we accelerate results for children in all the sectors. So how do we accelerate access to learning outcomes, healthcare, HPV vaccines for all adolescents, etc., etc. And we are having an incredible job, a dream job, but also a tough job because we work on wicked problems, problems that if we had the solutions handy would already be resolved. And so that's also why I wanted to be here today, to speak to you, look for new partners, look for opportunities to really collaborate, learn from your expertise. There's a ton of expertise. I don't speak any Swedish, but it was quite obvious that there's a ton of expertise in the speakers before me, and try to bring that to some of those children who are today suffering and kind of left behind. And I want to speak about one example today, which is in essence mental health issues. So mental health is quite often intangible. It's hard to kind of put tangibility to it. So I'll give you a few numbers. 1 billion people are estimated to live with mental health today in the world. 1 billion. That's also about 1 of 6 in adolescents are estimated to live with mental health today. And this is, here in Sweden, the second cause of death for adolescent and young people. Of course, that's pretty serious. And if you wanted to make it even more tangible, we estimate that the cost of mental health on the world is about 4% of the world GDP every year. So just imagine the cost of that. 4%, that buys you access to NATO, that buys you a trip to Thailand, for those of you who have forgotten what the feel of warmth feels like, or what the sun looks like. I'm certainly trying to look a lot of TVs to look at that. But it also would enable us to have young children everywhere in the world who feel that they know where to look for support, who know who to talk to. And that's not easy, and that is one of the challenges that we really have as an organization, is that most of the problems that occur on mental health occur before the age of 14, 1-4, and indeed the immense majority would occur before early 20s. And the additional challenge with that is that we don't quite know how to connect. For those of you who are parents, who have teenagers, I'm one of them, even when you feel you have a good relationship with your child, they don't want to talk to you about their mental health issues when they have some. And so it's not just acknowledging that these are a real problem, it's really finding out how do we reach them and how do we reach an ability to kind of offer a response. And that is a little bit what we try to do. So we go in a number of routes. One of the routes is trying to look for existing digital solutions. So where we have availability online, trying to bring volunteers. There's lots of psychologists, mental well-being specialists who are willing to help. They just want a connection and a way to connect. So we try to use digital solutions to connect those young people who know about their mental health issues and want to do something about them. We also, and there's lots of things happening online. There's lots of solutions. I don't want to name too many, but there's one particular called 7 Cups, which is looking at about 700,000 mental health specialists that are essentially saying, ask for my help. I'm here to help. I'll do it on my free time, free of charge for anyone who needs it. We also look at system designs, because of course those digital solutions work for those children who live in worlds that are connected. Now, half of the world is not connected. So what happens to those countries, to those regions where children live and they're not connected? There's other solutions. And part of what we're trying to do is to figure out, okay, what works for these solutions, for these countries where connectivity doesn't happen, in the rural areas or in areas where lowest income children and adolescents live. And then try to build a picture of what we would call the system design that looks at various solutions, that look at an incredible integrated system response from connected to disconnected and various solutions around that. And try to understand how we use some of the partners that we could be connected to do that. We're trying that around Ukraine and the Ukraine response. So we are connecting about 1,000 counselors and mental health specialists that we believe offer us the ability to give support to up to 10 million adolescents that are currently suffering from the impact of Ukraine, either in Ukraine or outside of Ukraine, and trying to build the notion of how do we connect all of these dots and goodwills and people who want to help, so that these kids don't live in a perpetual nightmare and don't live in a life in which they simply don't know who to ask. And when they talk to their friends, most of their friends are living in the same communities as them, and they probably tell them, well, I don't have the answer if you don't have it. We're finding a lot of goodwill. We're always looking for more. We've connected with the World Economic Forum. We've kind of launched a challenge around, okay, what are solutions that we don't know about, that the World Economic Forum connection to private sector partners and others, academia, could help us figure out, startups. We are talking to a company that you may have heard about, which is called Spotify, about can we use music as a way to connect young people in the world they inhabit most of the time, to try and give them messages of where to look for help when they need it, or who to ask for help. So having some podcasts, having some maybe elements that guide them towards platforms that are anonymized, because they quite often don't want their face to be recognized, their name to be recognized, and that they will trust. Again, acknowledging that most adolescents don't want to go into a health center, don't want to talk to their parents, so that anonymity is quite important. And we're always looking for more partners, and so that's a little bit my call for, if you're interested in creating those dreams for children, there's tens of millions of children in the world that are suffering from that. There's always room for more goodwill. It's about really aggregating all of these solutions so that we offer this integration and the notion that we're not leaving pockets of children behind. And I just described one problem, which is mental health. Of course, we are working on so many. And so please trust that if you're not focusing on mental health, if you don't see yourself with potentially a solution to that, there's so much more that we could do together. And it's just about bringing that goodwill together and aggregating all that we can do when we put our minds to it. Thank you so much.